What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Reality Report. Reality Report. The main thing is we get it real. I'm going to jump right into it today. You see me in my hard hat, my sunglasses. Normally on the job, I wouldn't wear sunglasses, but I wanted to do something different today. I wanted to get the feel. So I'm on a deck, an open deck for those that are in construction. Dave T from Boston, you'll understand. Maddie Sweeney. Whatever subscribers are out there that spent any time in the building trades and any part of it, you'll understand. I'm on a little small deck in the neighborhood. I wanted to get the feel again, so I put the hat on, hard hat on, the only one I ever, for some reason, held on to. I think this was something, maybe one of the helmets I wore during 9/11. Maybe not, I'm not sure. So I'm going to jump right into it. So I wanted to do something different. I wanted to muster up the old feel. So I got the sweatshirts on, and it feels good to feel like I'm back on a site. So I'm on the fourth floor of an open deck in an open stairwell. So I'm going to jump into it. So I'm going to take you back 2002, 2003, maybe early 2004, but I'm positive we're in 2003. So let me set the table. I started this project, I believe we were on 35th and Lexington Avenue, Manhattan. We were going up, I think, 43 stories, a high-rise job. And I need to set this tone for you of what actually went down and how this all happened. I want to let you know. So I'm in the middle of this. I'm facing. I got a case going from an OC pinch that I took in 01. So, like I said, went back to work in previous videos. So that case is going on. I immediately get sent to a job. That I wound up becoming kind of really tight with some guys on the job. You know, the steward, shop steward, for anybody that doesn't understand, there represents the union on the job. Make sure everybody's union and whatnot. And I became tight with the general foreman who ran the whole show. And immediately I become what's called the deputy foreman for the laborers. Basically, I do the job for the foreman because it's a big job, and with a lot of laborers on it, or big enough. And he's tied up with a lot of other things. So yeah, he respected me enough to give me that responsibility, which I was grateful for. But probably about 2-3 weeks into that job, I don't want to say, they understood that I had the construction savvy. You have a lot of different characters in construction. For those that don't know, you're dealing with guys that, all could be guys that just came home from the joint, guys that are associated, mobbed up, whatever you want to call it. You got straight-laced guys. You got guys that went to college that just chose to be in the field because it's better money than what they were going to do with their college education. The tradesmen. So you have all walks of life on a construction job. But what I found myself in was I get asked, sometime into that job, a good amount of time, maybe about 3 months in, the guys felt me out. I could take the hard hat off now and tell the story. So a good time into that job, as I said, I became friends with the steward, the general foreman. And then I become friends with one of the laborers who had a very similar background as myself, guy that was in the street for, a good period of time, went away, stuff like that. I'll just say, good friend, dear friend, his name was Joe. I'll just use it as Joey T, and we'll leave it at that. Joey T, great guy, miss him, love him. So if he ever sees this, love you, Joe. But he'll know because we were together on this. And what happens is we get asked. At that time, it just so happened that the crew that I was working with is involved in they want to take over the union because elections were coming up. So while the elections are coming up, they have, a bunch of guys that are in place to want to take over the memberships, the administration that's already in office, meaning business manager, president, all the, business agents, a whole new slate. Actually, it was called the clean slate, I think, or something like that. Or back then, there was a name for the team that I was. So I asked to become, long and short, I asked to become a part of this team. And being part of that team means you're going to go to these meetings and raise a ruckus on you're going to let them know that you're planting your flag with these people. And in return, if your people get in the side that you chose, it usually, works out good down the road for me as maybe I wind up being a steward. Maybe I wind up in an administration spot. Who knows? Business aid. Who knows? That wasn't even on my mind. What's in it for me? I was a loyal soldier. I'm all in. Well, there was a lot of things going on. So anybody that knows the politics of the union, kind of like the street, you have another faction, okay, that was at that time, half of them were put in there by the federal government, half of the administration. I can't say who exactly because even though I might know, I really don't know 100% that which individuals were placed there, because the union at that point was under what's called trusteeship. So the feds actually had an office, or they were overseers of the union because of corruption that had gone on years previous. So that, my point is, it causes hostility between whoever's opposing them, this group, which is a group of 15, 20 when you think about it. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that are part of that other administration. So there's a lot of hostility. They're threatened by this new group, like, how dare you want to take all our positions? And the team I'll call it a team, this group that I was going to be with, and representing, was a strong bunch of guys. They had street savvy, they had intelligence, knew the union inside out, and well respected. And worked truly for the men. No grand designs, but to do the right thing for the men. Now, you do need, guys that are able to, in union meetings, guys know shit pops off all the time in union meetings. Guys will stand up and say stuff like, you guys suck, you're terrible, I haven't worked, and everybody's got a beef about something. Whether they're good or bad. This particular group, in my opinion, the old group, was terrible. And I worked, but they were terrible. And I wasn't close with any one of them. And again, I worked because, thank God, I had friends that, I got put on jobs. But long story short, so this is going on. So you always got bickering and bullshit. And one day on the site, I'm working, you know, checking on the men. We're doing our thing. And we get a call. I think one of my buddies got a call that was running the job that they were breaking balls. The union was breaking balls, that the company we were working for, the owner, who wound up turning out to be a piece of shit because I represented him as well in a lot of ways. But construction business only. I'm out of the street already, guys. But that shit's still in you. So he happened to owe benefit money. So that gives that other administration that we're opposing and trying to win the election against an upper hand where they could they could truly, by bylaws, they could shut you down when it exceeds a certain amount. So we're told that it's possible that business agents are going to come to the job and just break balls. They're going to check everybody's union book. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. So automatically, I get amped up, because, a little bit younger, not too young, but, if I'm going to, like I said in other videos, I do, just me, maybe, but a lot of people. You're going to do something, or you say you're going to be part of something, and that's construction. I'm going to be 100% on the representing this group. I'm going to be 100%. So me and my friend Joey T, that I'm telling you about, fellow laborer, great worker, by the way, but we had a lot of things in common, and we believed in going all the way if you have to, as we spoke about. So it winds up sometime that morning, this particular day, I forget the exact date, while this election is going on and shit is heated, these two business agents come to the job, and they come with very bad attitudes, kind of disrespectful. They knew everybody. They knew a lot of the guys. Everybody had a union book, but they wanted to break balls, and that's their right. But they knew it was strictly because, we were the opposition, and they wanted to send their little threats or whatever it was. Well, what happens is word leads to word. I'm fresh off of, and I've always been this way my whole life. You speak rudely to me. There's a chance that, back then, I might not speak rudely back to you. I might just act. I didn't care what role you played. You know what I mean? I don't care what your title is. That's full disclosure. That's just my brain back then. A little different now, a little calmer. So now I got my pal Joey T next to me because we were told to greet them and whatever, kindly make sure, they don't disrupt the job. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Nothing physical. But their rudeness and inability to be gentlemen, I'm saying it exactly the way it was. Their inability, they were assholes, and they spoke like assholes. And they weren't nice guys. Okay, they didn't speak nicely. They didn't speak like gentlemen. You could speak like a gentleman and still do what you have to do and show your force and your power. Well, they were disrespectful, so they got treated disrespectfully. Okay, so word leads to word. Before you know it, me and my partner are physically removing two business agents that represent us. Technically, they represent us because we didn't win the election. The election's going on. So they're our representatives. We physically are removing them from the job. Well, it just didn't end when we got outside the job site. They kept cursing after we removed them. Words are going back and forth. Somehow we wind up in a parking garage. Oh, probably like maybe because we probably like 2 blocks away because we, it kept going. And inside that parking garage, the verbal stuff continued. And somehow, it is 20 years ago, maybe somewhere around there. These 2 business agents claim they were assaulted. Their windshields were broke. One of them claimed they got hit over the head with a cell phone, their own cell phone. I believe another accusation was there was somebody got slapped. I could tell you there was an altercation. Absolutely. That's the point of me telling you this. This is the bad side of what could happen when you oppose leadership. Again, I didn't care. They were rude and disrespectful. So the accusations were they were assaulted physically. Their vehicle was busted up in a few different ways. So they say inside this parking garage. That obviously escalated after this turn of events happens. We go back to the job site. Me and my pal Joey are looking at each other and we're walking back. And be honest with you, back then we're laughing our ass off. You believe these 2? They think they're going to come here and start threatening people and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And, so we giggled and laughed about it and thought it was honestly quite funny. Because that's where my mind was back then. I didn't give a shit. I'm fighting a case in something else. This is fun. Again, I'm younger, a little younger, old enough to know, it's not what you do. But, when you're disrespected and you talk to they think they can talk to you a certain way, you can't have that in any walk of life. So we get hit with all these assault charges, this, that, and the other thing. And the guys that we were representing on that same group of guys that asked, to play a certain role in this election, all of a sudden, and I still have love for them somewhat. They never, said we did this or that, or went against us at all. But the owner of that company, who knew we were also going to bat for him because they could have shut his job down because he owed over $300,000 in benefits. Okay, so they technically did have the right to shut his job down. So it was, yes, we're battling business agents over an election which is not being talked about, but we're also, representing an owner and kind of chasing them because of the benefit situation that we didn't become aware of till after the fact. So we get brought up on international charges. In the bylaws, you raise your hand to a business agent, official, union official in general. There's consequences to that. What are those consequences? Did I know that? Were they really assaulted? Was it an accusation? No, they were assaulted. Did they bring it on themselves? 1,000,000%. Not proud of it. It's long over. It was minor, very minor. What they called an assault, I would call it in the real world a laughing matter. you're disrespectful, you got treated the way you should be treated. Fuck being a union official or not. Long story short, the owner who owed all the money sells us out. He knew we went to bat for him as well. What happens to us when the international representatives knock on our door? Joey's door and my door. What happens? What do you think happens? I'll tell you what happens. But I gave you the whole crux of the story. We're charged with assault. Windows are broken. Who got slapped? Who got cracked over the head with a phone? So they say, right? I already said there was an assault in a parking garage. We did defend ourselves. We say it was self-defense, me and Joe. And what really happened at the end with the international getting involved? Well, I'm going to tell you what happened when the international got involved and how that played out. But I'll tell you that in the next story, and that will be on Sunday night. Love you guys. Love all the subs. Shout out to everybody that's up to this channel, all the content creators that I speak with daily. Nothing but love. Thought the construction workers, people would like to hear some union stuff and how it kind of can blend with some street stuff. And you guys be well. God bless. I hope you enjoyed this content and this story. I have a lot more and how this plays out. Love you guys. Be well. Stay safe. Take care of your families. There's a lot of craziness out there. I will finish up this story Sunday and tell you how we handled the international. God bless. Be well. And I hope you don't mind that I want to be a little different today and kind of go on location. Okay? Be well, guys. Great day.